friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria and today we are going to be talking about bingeable series. So I have so many books stacked next to me to talk to you about today. Some of my all-time favorite series that are just so easy, quick, fun to binge and go through. These are all books that have full completed series. These are all completed series and ones that are just so easy to go one after the other, or that I went one after the other and binged all of them in a pretty short time. They're all very addictive, very fun, not too angsty. They're pretty fast paced. And I am excited to get in and talk to you about some of my all-time favorite books that are fun to binge. Where do we start? The first series that I'm going to talk about is the Off-Campus series by Elle Kennedy. This one is all hockey new adult romances. For me, new adult is pretty easy to get through. They're not usually over the top. And they are all just super fun. So this series all follows four best friends who are also roommates who are in college. They all play hockey at Breyer University, and they're like the big hockey stars on campus. So this one is the like star player of the team, Garrett Graham. Everyone knows he's gonna go pro eventually. And the heroine is Hannah, who is a music student, and they end up doing kind of like deciding to do a friends with benefits arrangement because Hannah needs help with intimacy. She's not comfortable with it due to a sexual assault that happened when she was in high school. Book 2 is The Mistake. This one is John Logan, who is from the wrong side of the tracks. He comes from a very poor family. His dad's an alcoholic. And Grace is younger than him, and he ends up accidentally knocking on her door one night. They hook up, and that's where it starts. Anyway, one of my favorite things about this book is the grovel in it. He screws up and makes a mistake, and Grace really makes him work for it before she decides to go out with him again, and it's very good. The score is enemies to lovers, sort of, and they, again, sort of friends with benefits. Then the goal is a surprise pregnancy romance, and they are all just really fun. Totally would recommend the series if you haven't read it. Next series that I'm going to talk about is another new adult series, and that is the CU Hockey series by Eden Finley and Saxon James. This is book 1 and 2. I don't know the rest of the books in the series, unfortunately. But they are all romances. They're all new adult except for the last one in the series, which is adult. They are the characters that are out of college. This one is a nerd and jock one. This one is enemies to lovers. This one is also a bi awakening. The third one in the series is starts as a sort of like epistolary. They meet online, and one it's a bi awakening for one of the characters, and then this other character is demisexual, I believe. Then the fourth book in the series is a bad boy and then the coach's son. And then the last book in the series is the assistant coach of the team and a professor at the school. And they are all really great. So fun, so sexy, just a good time and so easy to read. Next series that I'm going to talk about is the Brown Sisters series by Talia Hibbert. This series are all an Own Voices series. The author is black and the heroines are all black. Also, all of the heroines are plus sized and they actually have like a representation on the cover. Plus sized black woman. We love that. Get a Life Chloe Brown is Chloe's story, and she has fibromyalgia and she decides she needs to get a life when she has a near-death experience, and she ends up having a romance with her building manager when they band together to help her with the list that she makes to get a life. Then book 2 is a fake dating romance. I just recently recommended this in a fake dating romance recommendations video. It's one of my favorite fake dating romances ever. Dani Brown is, I think she's a PhD student, and Zaf is the security guard for her building, and Zaf rescues her from a building and gets photographed rescuing her, and they end up fake dating for the publicity of it for Zaf's charity. Zaf has a foundation that supports young male athletes and mental health. And then actor Eve Brown is a sort of enemies to lovers. They get off on the wrong foot, and the hero is autistic, works at a bed and breakfast, and Eve becomes the chef at this bed and breakfast that he runs. It's amazing, so good, such great representation in all of them, so fun, really enjoyable use of the tropes that are in them, and some of my favorite books. Then let's talk about this series next. The Ward Sister series by Carla Sorensen. These ones, they're all technically sports romances, but all different sports. All of them are sisters, and it's each of their romances. So Focused, which is the first one, is a neighbor's romance, childhood crush. The heroine in it has had a crush on her neighbor since she was really young, and now it's years later, and he is a famous football player and just got traded to the team that she is I think she's works for the PR or marketing or something, and she ends up having a opportunity to film a documentary about him, and they end up getting really close because of it. Faked is the second one, and this one is he is a snowboarder. The heroine in this has an identical twin. Her story, the identical twin story, is the next book. But this one, she has a big crush on her identical twin's best friend. And when she gets the opportunity for that best friend to escort her to something, she pretends to be her twin. But the guy that ends up escorting her is actually the best friend's half-brother, who is like this bad boy snowboarder who doesn't get along with the family, and they fall in love. It's great. There's a snowed in element in this book, which is really fun, and only one bed. This one is a surprise pregnancy on a study abroad trip in England, where the heroine has a one-night stand with a professional soccer player who she does not realize is a professional soccer player, and ends up getting pregnant. And then the last book, which is my favorite one in the series, was one of my favorite books of 2021. This one is again, childhood crush, but childhood celebrity crush. The age gap, single dad romance. The heroine, Isabel, works at a gym, and her celebrity crush from her when she was a child, who was a fighter, buys the gym and becomes her boss. And they fall in love. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. They're all so good. It's just such easy reads. So good. The next one we're going to talk about is the Brutal Birthright series by Sophie Lark. Again, I only own 2 of them. I don't own the rest of them. These are my 2 favorites in the series. So all the books in the series are mafia romances, and they all follow 2 different families. So the first one, Brutal Prince, is a contemporary arranged marriage between the son of the head of the Irish mafia and the daughter of the head of the Italian mafia. My cat is meowing. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. Their fathers end up making them get married to align their families, and it's enemies to lovers. They fall in love. It's great. Cal is just a amazing hero. Ada is one of the most badass heroines ever. I absolutely adore her. The second book is Stolen Heir, and this one is a captor-captive romance. Miko, who is the son of the recently deceased head of the, I think he's Polish mafia, kidnaps the daughter of one of the daughters of the head of the Irish mafia, and they keeps her captive in his house. And they end up falling in love, and it's wonderful, absolutely amazing. It also has a Beauty and the Beast retelling element to it. So good. The third book in the series, Savage Lover, is one of the sons of the Italian mafia head and a girl he actually, I think, went to high school with back in the day, but they were not close in high school. She's a mechanic, and I don't really know what you would consider the tropes to be for that one, but it's really good. Then the fourth book is Bloody Heart, which is a second chance romance, and he and the heroine fell in love as children, and then the heroine's father kept them apart later on, and it's been like a really long time, like something like 8 years since they've seen each other, maybe even more than that since they've seen each other, and then they reconcile. Fifth book is my favorite in the series, Broken Vow, and this one is a bodyguard romance, and it's amazing. And then the last book in the series, Heavy Crown, is their families are enemies, but they aren't actually enemies really, enemies to lovers style. They are so addictive. They are so sexy. They are so good. So good. And I read all 6 of the books in a month. So good. So good. Would 100% recommend them. I cannot wait to read the rest of Sophie Lark's books. Okay, the next series that I'm going to mention is the Harris Brothers series and Harris Brothers spin-offs. This one is perfect because I'm actually wearing my Harris Brothers sweatshirt today. Bethnal Green, represent. It says Harris on the back. So this series are all soccer romances, except for Strength, which is technically a prequel. So I, again, don't own all the books in the series, but this one is the Harris sister. It deals a lot with suicide and mental health, so be aware of that. But this one technically does not deal with, this is not a sports romance, but sort of part of the series because it's the Harris sister. Then the first book in the series I don't actually own is called Challenge. It is they're all of the Harris brothers are a family of professional soccer players in England. Challenge is a doctor romance. The hero hurts himself while playing soccer and ends up going to the hospital where he falls in love with his doctor there. The second one is called Endurance. It has a fake dating element to it, plus size heroine, really good. Then the third book in the series is called Keeper, and that one is a childhood best friend's surprise pregnancy romance. The fourth and fifth books in the series are a duet, actually. It's Surrender and Dominate, and that's Gareth Harris's duet. And they are all single mother, submissive heroes romance. Then you have the spin-offs. You have Payback, which is about a woman whose boyfriend cheated on her, so she goes to a wedding in England and has sex with a really hot soccer player who's from South Africa and films it to try and get back at her ex. Then you've got Blindsided, which is a friends to lovers Scottish hero plus size heroine. Amazing. Then this one, Replay, is actually the lawyer for the soccer team, and it's sort of second chance, not really. They kind of dated back in the day, and then reconcile later. And then the last book in the series is Sweeper, which is the surprise Harris brother who lived in America, who is a half brother to the Harris brothers, who the Harris brothers didn't know existed until he shows up. But yeah, great, amazing series. I just went through that so fast, I'm so sorry. But they are really, really great, really, really fun. I binged the first 5 or 6 in the series because the rest of them weren't out when I first binged it, but I did binge the entire original Harris Brothers series and Payback and Blindsided when I first read them because they are so fun. The banter in Amy Dawes' books is amazing. They are hilarious and just awesome. Audiobooks, 10 out of 10. Amy Dawes is a big audiobook person, so she puts a lot of effort into her audiobooks and makes them all duet narration, which is like a movie in your head, and it's fantastic if you listen to the audiobooks of them. Okay, the last series that I'm going to talk about in this very long video, I'm so sorry, is the Bridgerton series, which I would hold up but would drop all of them because I already did on the way over here. Oh, see, already started. They're not in order or facing the right way because I dropped them all on the way here. But this is a historical romance series that I binged before the Bridgerton TV show came out. And if I can put them in order, all really, really great historicals. They follow the Bridgerton siblings. There are 8 siblings, and each book follows their romance. The first one is a brother's best friend romance, and it's fake dating, and it's great. Then the second one is I don't even know what you would call this. He's trying to court the sister of his heroine. So he is trying to court this woman because she's the prettiest of the season, and the older sister of that woman is not having it, and is like, no, you're not good enough for my sister. And then the two of them fall in love. It's hilarious. The third one is sort of a Cinderella retelling. The hero meets this woman at a masquerade party, and that woman is the bastard child of a rich person who died and left her in the care of his wife and her 2 daughters. So this one is a plus-size heroine, and she has been crushing on him for a really, really long time, and he never looked at her twice until now. Then this one, When He Was Wicked, is a second chance at love for the heroine. The heroine's husband passed away, and this is her romance with his best friend, I believe, actually. Then the next one is To Sir Philip with Love. This one is Eloise's story. Her best friend gets married to her brother, and then she's like, I'm alone now. So she shows up at this guy's house that she's been pen paling with and is like, hey, you said you needed a wife. You want to marry me? It's in His Kiss is Hyacinth's story. This one's kind of like a mystery element, sort of. They're like searching for treasure or something, and the heroine is like super bold and outspoken and like really, really smart, and the hero needs her help to translate this book that he has, and the heroine is like being sassy about it. And then On the Way to the Wedding is the one that I didn't read. So I actually haven't read this book yet. So I can't tell you, but I binged all the other ones, but I thought I would include it. This is the last one. This is Gregory's story. I've heard good things about it, but I actually have not read it yet. But I did binge the first 7 in a very, very short time. So would really, really recommend this series, especially because season 2 of Bridgerton is coming out soon. I don't know if it's going to be out before this video. I don't think so. I think it comes out like the week after this video is coming out. but I'm really excited about it, so I needed to include the Bridgerton series in this video because they are great. That's gonna be it for this video. I tend to binge books. When I really like a book, I tend to see if there's another one in the series and then read all of them in that order. It's just the way I do things, so I binge a lot of series. So these are ones that I would consider extremely bingeable. So that's going to be it for this video. Please let me know down in the comments below, again, if you have a book recommendation for a series that I should binge. So that's it. So please subscribe so you can see more content from me. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!